The protagonist of this story is cheated on multiple times by his unfaithful wife after the birth of their daughter. Completely smitten with his daughter, but he is also betrayed by her. This is a story of the protagonist losing patience with his wife and daughter. Take your time. Let me write a story about my breakup with an unfaithful wife and a selfish mother/daughter story that happened after. She's unfaithful and selfish, there's no helping her. Sorry to hear that. Tell me more. I was 47 years old at the time. I work as a tax accountant at an accounting firm. My cheating wife was 42 years old. After our daughter was born, she became a part-time housewife. Before our daughter was born, she worked as a temp doing clerical work. Our daughter is 18 years old. She became a college student this spring. My cheating wife was in charge of accounting at one of my client companies, which was how we first met. She was very dedicated to her work, frequently contacting me and asking questions about things she didn't understand. That's why she was great to work with, and I was attracted to her diligence and sincerity. We started dating and got married in our second year together. It seems like she didn't grow up very well off. Her parents were relieved that she was marrying me, someone with a stable job. Please take care of our daughter. We're counting on you, her mother said to me. Looking back now, I wonder what she really meant by that. My cheating wife continued working as a temp even after we got married. Then, half a year into our marriage, we found out she was pregnant. That child is our daughter. My cheating wife didn't take maternity leave, instead quitting her temp job when her contract ended. She gave birth to our daughter and started working part-time when our daughter was about a year old. I told her to take it easy since childcare must be tough, so she worked about 3 days a week. We were really lucky to get our daughter into daycare. But that luck plunged me into the abyss. My cheating wife would say she had to work a sudden shift and drop our daughter off at daycare, on days outside her regular schedule. But it wasn't actually for work. It was to cheat on me. Every time she started a new part-time job, she'd start a relationship with a coworker or customer there. What's worse, she was the one initiating it. I was just planning to go out to eat with him, became her go-to line. Then why not invite other people too, not just the two of you? Because I wanted to have a meal with just that person. I don't know how many times we had that exchange. Under the pretext of getting a meal together, she'd start a deeper relationship that would ultimately turn into an affair, with the other person getting just as caught up in it as her. It happened so many times that I eventually lost track of how many affair partners she had. But I endured it all for the sake of our daughter. I loved our daughter so much, and I knew I'd definitely lose custody if we divorced. I couldn't bear the thought of living apart from our daughter. By the way, when my cheating wife first started cheating, I secretly did a DNA test on our daughter and myself, even though it pained me to do so. The results confirmed that we were indeed parent and child. Having scientific proof that our daughter was my child warmed my heart. My cheating wife probably took advantage of that weakness of mine, using my love for our daughter against me. That's so sad. Were you happy at all? I was happy, as long as our daughter was attached to me. Our daughter was more attached to me than to her mother, who didn't pay much attention to her. On my days off, I'd make us lunch and take her to the park or to see a movie. I was a doting dad who adored his daughter. But the passage of time is cruel. As our daughter grew up, she naturally started drifting away from her father. It was probably due to her age and going through puberty. I don't want to eat with you, Dad. Dad, don't take a bath before me. When she started saying those typical lines, I suddenly felt so lonely. I guess every dad goes through that at some point, huh? Girls are cute but scary. Meanwhile, my cheating wife kept repeating the cycle of cheating on me, getting caught, and quitting her part-time job. At first, I demanded compensation from her affair partners, but I started to feel sorry for them too. After the fifth one, I stopped seeking compensation. So I lost track of her affair partners after that. I would just break them up whenever I found out. But I realized it was pointless since she never reflected on her actions and just found someone new each time. I'm amazed you didn't blow up at her. I would have kicked her out. 5 guys. That's mind-boggling. Is your cheating wife really that attractive? Is she attractive? I don't think she's an age-defying beauty or anything. To be honest, it just felt like I was keeping a predatory animal as a pet. But even with a mother like that, our daughter started getting along better with her than with me once she hit puberty. That in itself is a good thing, but it was complicated for me since I knew what my cheating wife was up to. Plus, our daughter's rebelliousness seemed less like it was coming from a genuine place, and more like she was enjoying the thrill of defying her dad. That's why I thought it was just a phase and endured it. Our daughter entered high school, still in her rebellious phase. She picked a private all-girls school because she thought the uniforms were cute. Yeah, the uniforms were definitely cute. I thought they suited her well. But the tuition was pretty steep. Even so, she was our only daughter, and I was earning a decent income by then. It's not like we struggled immensely to send her there. I tried to give her the same lifestyle as the kids around her. Although, the only thing our daughter would say to me around this time was begging for allowance money. I'm going to an amusement park with my friends over the long weekend, she said as she took $200 from me. You're so stingy. Why don't you just give me your credit card? Are all high school girls like this these days? Apparently borrowing their parents' credit cards is some kind of status symbol. You know they'd immediately realize you're not the cardholder if you try to use my credit card, right? But my friends all bring their parents' credit cards. They said they borrow them. Oh, I get it, I'll just borrow my mom's then. Even as she said that, she still shamelessly took the cash. There's no way my cheating wife would give her a credit card. I doubt she could even get approved for one in the first place. My cheating wife once ignored a credit card bill and ended up on a blacklist. Around this time, I knew she still had a man on the side, as usual. But I figured it was pointless to say anything, so I just let it be. I later regretted that it was a mistake. If I had properly intervened with the sixth or seventh guy, I could have cut off those relationships. I'm sure all of my cheating wife's part-time earnings were being spent on herself. I started to feel a bit disturbed that our daughter was so chummy with a mother like this. Then one day, our daughter asked me for a hefty sum of money. Give me $1,000. I was shocked by the amount. Ha! $1,000? What does a high school girl need that much for? Do you really need to ask? Of course I do. I want to determine if it's necessary or not. Our daughter said in an annoyed tone. Laser hair removal. Thanks to your genes, I'm super hairy, and I hate it. Take responsibility. Responsibility and laser hair removal for a high school student? I told her I'd think about it. Then at work, I asked one of the part-time moms with a daughter around the same age about what high school girls are into these days. My daughter does cheerleading, so she really wanted to get it done. I let her do medical laser hair removal because I was worried about her getting burned at some shady place. It costs a lot, doesn't it? The price seems to vary widely depending on the clinic. My daughter got a referral from her senior on the team. High school girls these days are something else. But our daughter wasn't in any clubs like that. Her only reason seemed to be that all her friends were doing it. Oh, and my jeans. Yeah. Sorry for being so hairy. After some deliberation, I ended up agreeing to pay for it. Is it a reputable place? Are you sure there won't be any issues? You're so annoying. It's where my friends go, so it'll be fine. Why am I getting scolded when I'm the one footing the bill? But my love for my daughter makes me shell out the money anyway. I wonder if I spoiled her too much growing up. Actually, the one spoiling her is my cheating wife, not me. Is that what high school girls are like these days? My friend's daughter said all her friends are getting plastic surgery over summer break. That's scary. High school girls, go get a part-time job. And so our daughter finished high school and became a college student. Shockingly, I found out that our daughter had met the affair partner too, which left me stunned. My mom's boyfriend is so cool. I know, right? He's a division manager at a wine import company. How sophisticated. He's not just good-looking, his job is cool too. I overheard this conversation between my wife and daughter. I couldn't believe my cheating wife, but I was also shocked that our daughter had the same mindset. Mom's boyfriend? It's clearly an affair. She's old enough to understand what that means. She's accepting her mother's infidelity. And then she started saying something ridiculous. Maybe he's my real dad? Since I know the truth, I can immediately deny it. Maybe he is, my cheating wife said. There's no way that's true. The first guy you cheated with was that part-time convenience store worker. Her ability to lie so smoothly hasn't diminished at all. I thought that but kept my mouth shut. Our daughter is definitely mine. There's no doubt about that. I still keep those DNA test results safe to this day. But our daughter was completely enthralled. It seems she now believes my wife's current affair partner is her father. I wanted to tell her to have him pay her tuition then. But no matter what, she's still my precious daughter. Until she gets married, she's my daughter, and I want to raise her with care. I endured it all with that singular thought in mind. By this point, our daughter had stopped calling me dad. She'd say you, or hey. It felt like she was denying that I'm her father. No, she wants to deny it. She seems to be overriding it with, the cooler guy is my dad. Does my dad's company have any stores or anything? Yeah, he runs a wine bar. And a wine specialty shop. Wow, how trendy. I want to work part-time there. Well, you technically have to be over 20. But I'll ask for you. Who the hell is she calling dad? I'm your biological father. At this point, the only thing supporting me was the DNA test results. With only that to sustain me, I paid for our daughter's tuition and gave her allowance money. When she said she was going on a trip with friends, I gave her money and bought her high-end bags and clothes. I definitely let our daughter do as she pleased, just like I did with my cheating wife. But fighting with our daughter was the most psychologically damaging thing for me. So in the end, you ran away from it all too. I get the urge to run, but if you're going to run, you should physically run away for real. You mean get a divorce? I think so too. Then an incident occurred. It was the summer when our daughter was a college junior. I'm getting married, so give me money for the wedding. About $50,000 should do. I was even more shocked than the laser hair removal incident. What about college? Who are you marrying? I'm dropping out. I'm pregnant. It's not like you'd know who he is even if I told you. I could barely stand. What the hell? Did I screw up that badly in raising her? I'm not going to say premarital sex is wrong these days. That's not the issue. Getting married as a student? Dropping out? And hitting up her parents for the money to do it? No, this is the result of being raised by your cheating wife during her adolescence. What kind of upbringing is that? Pregnant. Are you marrying the baby's father? Of course I am. What, are you saying you won't allow the marriage? I'm an adult now, so I can get married of my own will. I know that, but we don't even know who the guy is. My mom knows him, right? My cheating wife was grinning from ear to ear. Disgusting. If you're going to pull the "I'm an adult" card, then deal with the consequences of your actions yourself. You're a terrible parent. At least give me some money as a final gesture of love for your daughter. Some money? I thought your dad was your mom's boyfriend? Have him pay for it. Yeah. Oh, and don't bother coming to the ceremony. I've asked my dad to be there instead. At that point, I realized I had to give up. I meekly handed over $50,000 to our daughter. At that point, I considered it a severance payment. I told myself this was the last time. And I thrust divorce papers at my cheating wife. I had always carried around divorce papers, intending to split up someday. Oh, so you've had enough of me too, huh? I've put up with it all this time, but I'm done. I only held out until our daughter gets married. Fine, whatever. Saying that, she quickly filled it out, signed it, and tossed it at me. I picked up the completed divorce papers off the floor. That settles it, so I want both of you out by the end of the week. After saying that, I shut myself in my room. Geez, how rude, I heard our daughter say. But I didn't want to hear it anymore. You've really been through the ringer, huh? No, this is just too sad. Are we the only ones who feel unsatisfied with this ending? Of course, I hired a lawyer to exact punishment on my cheating wife and her affair partner. I intended to squeeze them for as much in damages as I could. I wanted to claim damages from my cheating wife for everything up until now, but apparently, the statute of limitations had passed, so I could only claim for the current incident. That's infuriating. It can't be helped. I decided to consider it punishment for spoiling them all this time. After consulting with my lawyer, we decided to seek $30,000 from my cheating wife, including compensation for emotional distress during our marriage, and $20,000 from the affair partner. A total is $50,000. If you add that to the compensation I got from 4 people in the past, it would exceed $100,000. Getting a huge sum of money from being cheated on doesn't make me happy at all. It's just pathetic. The affair partner really was a division manager, it seems. He transferred both payments in full. We also agreed that she was prohibited from contacting me, with an additional $10,000 in damages if she violated that. I have no reason to contact you. That's my line. Those were my cheating wife's parting words. 2 years passed. I turned 50. I took over the accounting firm from the retired director. I'm single now, so I have to worry about my retirement. I figured I still needed to earn enough to cover the cost of living in a nursing home someday. All the staff stayed on, so while I became the director, nothing really changed. Well, my income did increase though. Then one day, my cheating ex-wife contacted the office. A part-timer who joined after our divorce and didn't know the situation put her through to me. "I heard you became the director?" Those were her first words. I had a bad feeling about this. I steeled myself, expecting her to demand money. "I have a favor to ask. It's hard to discuss over the phone, so I want to meet in person. You remember the no-contact order, right?" That applies to this call too, of course. It's a phone call, so it's not an in-person meeting. I'll leave that to my lawyer. You still want to meet? Fine, I'll pay you $20,000, so please meet with me. Something seemed off. I mean, she's still well off as always, huh? I agreed to meet my cheating ex-wife at a cafe by the nearest train station in the evening. She looked a bit haggard. "Long time no see. Is our daughter doing well? The baby must be big by now. What was the gender?" When I asked that, she replied with a trembling voice, "Our daughter's engagement was broken off because of you. She had the baby and put it up for adoption." I was shocked to hear that. Her fiancé's parents apparently had a detective investigate our daughter. I only found out they had done that when they called off the engagement. Good thing we looked into it properly. We almost welcomed a terrible daughter-in-law. Our daughter's boyfriend looked at her coldly too, she said. "I had them investigate your upbringing and relationship with your father and mother. We really don't see eye to eye on family values. I don't want to start a family with someone who can't love their own. I'm sorry, but let's pretend this conversation never happened. I can't acknowledge the baby. It's the baby of a mother like you. I don't even know if it's really mine. I thought she should just get a DNA test to make him acknowledge it, but that might implicate herself. Just how much did she take after her mother?" I was thoroughly disappointed. "So, what's our daughter doing now?" "Working part-time. I split up with my boyfriend too. Got a severance payment though. Now our daughter and I are living together in a 1-bedroom apartment. How is it my fault?" "Because you demanded compensation from my boyfriend too. His company's president found out about it." She cradled her head in her hands as she spoke. "He said if I didn't leave him, he'd fire him. So I got kicked to the curb with a severance check." "How did he find out?" "My boyfriend's company president was our daughter's boyfriend's father. Our daughter had the chance to marry into money, but you ruined it. They did a thorough background check on us. Including my past, of course. Well, that's the consequence of her own actions, not my fault. But I guess it's an unfortunate situation for our daughter. So, what did you want to talk to me about? Money? We're divorced, so I have no reason to support you." "No. Money can't fix this." At some point, she had started crying. "A week ago, our daughter collapsed and was taken to the hospital in an ambulance. Hearing this didn't sway my heart at all. I was surprised at myself for that. I had lost all affection not just for my cheating ex-wife, but for my own daughter too. And then we found out it was kidney cancer. In both kidneys. If it's a kidney, can't she just get one from someone? I wasn't a match. That's why I came to ask you. Our daughter keeps saying, "What about my dad?" If he's my real dad, it'll be fine. So I thought maybe. I contacted the guy I dated before marrying you and had him do a DNA test. But he wasn't her father. And of course it couldn't be my current boyfriend. What? So she cheated on me even when we were dating? And the guy actually agreed to the test. I felt pathetic. Please, get tested to see if you're a match. And if I'm not a match? Apparently kidneys have to come from a relative, so if not, she might be on dialysis for life. And if I am a match? I want you to give our daughter one of your kidneys. She's your child, so it's fine, right? I didn't like this entitled attitude of hers. I had received compensation from my cheating ex-wife, but honestly, I didn't feel like that alone made up for years of resentment. So I thought of something. For now, I'll get tested. I'll decide what to do based on the results myself. Hearing that, my cheating ex-wife cried and begged me. I really felt like this must be divine retribution. I guess they both made their own beds, huh? But what's your purpose in getting tested? The next week, I took a day off work to get tested. The reason I got tested was because I wanted them to suffer, knowing that even if I was a match, they wouldn't be getting a kidney from me. I know it's incredibly cruel, and some people hearing this might be offended. I'm prepared to get criticized for posting this. The test results that came back a week later showed I was a perfect match. The results came directly to me. I'm sure it's because if the donor finds out the results first, there's a risk of blackmail or coercion. To be honest, my mind was made up regardless of the test results. I had absolutely no intention of becoming a donor. I had not a shred of compassion left for my ex-wife and daughter who had taken so much from me. Since I wasn't contacting them at all, my impatient cheating ex-wife barged into my office. I happened to be out at the time, so I avoided encountering her. But after the previous incident, everyone at the office was informed about how to handle her. If you come here again, we'll call the police, understand? They told me she left looking dejected after being told that. I kept ignoring my cheating ex-wife's attempts to contact me. If we met, she would definitely demand to know the results. And if she heard the results, she would beg me to become a donor. Eventually, I got a call at work from my daughter herself. I had my guard down regarding her, so I accidentally took the call. "Dad, I might die, you know?" "Huh? I thought your real dad was your mom's boyfriend? Did you think I didn't know you and your mom called me an ATM behind my back? That was wrong. When I needed a kidney, my mom contacted someone completely different. I asked her why she didn't ask her boyfriend. And she said she only met him after I was born. Yeah, I knew that. Why didn't you tell me? Even if I told you back then, you would have just called me a liar, right?" My daughter fell silent. I hit the nail on the head. "So you're fine with me dying, huh? Dad? Instead of relying on me, a stranger, wouldn't it be better to wait for a brain-dead donor? You hated me so much. So wouldn't that be better than getting a kidney from me and being indebted to me for life?" I could tell my daughter was crying over the phone. I noticed I didn't feel a thing, even knowing that. I can't erase this aversion I feel towards my daughter that goes beyond just teenage rebellion. But who knows when that will happen? True. Then why not ask your mom's relatives? Hearing that, my daughter got even more emotional. "My mom was disowned by her parents after divorcing you." I didn't know that. Well, that's the consequence of her own actions. And yours too, for siding with a mother like that. You're blaming a child? After kicking me out? No, you said you were getting married and left on your own, remember? In fact, I want the $50,000 back that you swindled from me for wedding expenses since you didn't get married. When I said that, she started screaming incoherently in a rage before the call disconnected. In any case, they're after my kidney. Putting it that way, Makes me sound like someone in debt to the mob. Did they find out somehow that I'm a match? Still, I kept ignoring them. I want nothing more to do with that ex-wife and daughter. The daughter I once adored had completely turned into a jinx. In the end, my daughter prioritized her life and had both kidneys removed. She'll be hospitalized long-term, hooked up to a dialysis machine, waiting for a kidney from a donor that may never come. I heard about this from the lawyer who helped with my divorce. My cheating ex-wife must have realized it would be bad to approach me any further. She apparently cried to my lawyer, begging him to convince me to donate my kidney. Your ex-wife contacted me in tears. I told her you absolutely refuse. But she keeps coming to the office, and it's a nuisance. Please feel free to call the police on her. I apologize for the continued trouble. Right. Now that I have your consent, we'll do that going forward. My office is doing the same. After that, I heard nothing further from them. Although I did get a call from my mother once. That horrible ex-wife of yours called, demanding I give my kidney to my granddaughter. I had no idea what she was talking about. I explained the situation to my mother and told her to just ignore them. Of course, I also asked my mother to relay the same thing to my brother. I suppose if by some miracle a brain-dead donor kidney became available, that ex-wife and daughter's sins would be forgiven. Well, no such news has come. My daughter is probably still hooked up to a dialysis machine, unable to leave the hospital. I guess it just goes to show that if you do bad things come back to you. I don't regret it, but I don't feel totally satisfied either. Maybe it's because I never wanted this kind of revenge. But this is surely the fate that my ex-wife and daughter brought upon themselves. I won't get involved in whether they overcome it or not. No matter how much I struggle, I'll never be able to forget those agonizing 13 years. Later, I got another call from my lawyer. I was officially retained, so this is just a progress update. Your ex-wife is going to file for personal bankruptcy. It seems she can no longer afford your daughter's medical expenses. Her severance pay must have finally run out, I thought as I listened. So you shouldn't be getting any further contact from your ex-wife. Thank you for all your help over this long time. Not at all. I'm just relieved it's finally over. I had at last obtained a safe and peaceful single life. Despite everything that happened, you finally got out. Congrats! Well done. I hope your life ahead is as enjoyable as your struggles up to now were painful. Lastly, I'm prepared to be condemned as a parent for essentially abandoning my daughter to die. Because I believe that's the price I have to pay. It seems like a happy ending, but it still leaves a bitter aftertaste. However, what would you all have done in the protagonist's shoes? Would you have quickly divorced your cheating wife and given up custody of your daughter? Or would you have fought your cheating wife for custody?